right. Good evening, everybody. Let's do a sound and audio check, visual check, whatever. How's everybody doing on this Monday evening? Here, looks good, sounds good, great. So let's go ahead and get started. How's everybody doing? How's trading been today? It was a good day in the markets. It was nice to see this kind of a relief rally after what do we call it, dead cat bounce. Some buying after everyone was just all in a panic from Friday. No trades. Today's been fun. Green, nice. I know that the house account did really well during Power Hour. That was great. The house account also did well during the fast markets, and me and Nick for the tick, and then again the Power Hour trade was pretty good as well. And I want to review that because I think today gave a couple good examples of some setups that I think is going to be good to review at near the end of class and answer some questions. We could review it. Maybe you guys were looking or asking me what was I looking at? What did we see during Power Hour? Was a great trade. I wish I would have taken it in a bigger size, and I wish the house account would have taken it in a bigger size. That seems to be the case whenever you have a good trade. You wish you were in a bigger size. But let's get started. There's a Topstep risk disclosure. As always, welcome to Slow Markets. I'm Coach Dakota, Coach DBA, and this is not a signals class. This is for educational. This is a class for education to answer questions and hopefully help traders along their path to get funded or just in general in their trading career, whether it's full-time or part-time. And Mark J says past 150K combine. So congratulations, starting off the night, great. Tommy's up 426 in XFAs, great. Already starting off on a positive note. So let's take a look. This is the NASDAQ on a daily chart, and you guys could see it's pretty clear and pretty obvious that we have been pulling back. We've had this sell-off. Basically, all of last week was one of the worst weeks for a while. In the NASDAQ, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 very ugly days. However, this week we've bounced back. We basically covered half, if not just over half, of Friday's sell-off. We rallied all the way up to 18,700s. And tonight we're kind of having a little bit of a sell-off back down. We're below 700. We're at 640s. It's a decent size sell-off tonight. And the first thing I'm watching is, are we going to continue to consolidate here in this zone? This would be a pretty big zone in between 400 and 700. And I would like to see some market structure. I really would, whether it's consolidation and then a breakdown or consolidation and a break up. There needs to be more structure in this market on the daily chart for me to be convinced of which direction we're going. I mean, you could see previously this was very choppy, very messy, but there is some solid structure, right? We're in a solid trend like this, and it was I don't want to say easy to trade, but you understood, right? It was buy the dip, and then when we did start to have signs of breaking down, we broke down, had a pullback, and then we could see that market structure pretty clear. And this has been a rough market to trade. It seems like I've been saying that for the past couple of months because it's true. These markets are very, very, very difficult. Dakota got some lipstick on his cheek, didn't quite get it off. I don't. Yeah, there's no chance that there's lipstick on my cheek. But I want to look at something interesting here. When we sold off at the beginning of August, you could see, and we did have this, reversal candle, and there was a lot of consolidation. This was an interesting level, and this was an interesting time in the markets. You could also see that there was a nice wick back here at the beginning of June. And then again, in March and April, there was a lot of support and resistance. So I think this is a great level that we're going to be watching to see if we can find some support. And you guys know I am a bull, and I'm always looking to get in long and find ways to buy this market. And I think it's going to be the same going into this week, whether we're going to be able to find that support, find consolidation, and find opportunities to get in long, or is this a pullback? Let me know. I'm curious for the chat. Are you guys looking at this being a pullback and a continuation to the downside? Hey, coach, I have picked your bad habit of taking only long, and it almost cost me big today. Not sure what you mean by that. Flip the screen. Already long tonight. Yeah. You guys know. Going lower in your opinion back, because if we zoom into an hourly chart, we could see it, right? And let's talk about where we are at in the markets. We've obviously established that we are in a downtrending market. We're going down and to the right. That's pretty clear and obvious. And we were looking at that from a daily standpoint. The question is this a pullback? And then are we going to see a continuation down? Of course, if we was looking to play pullbacks over the last week, that all of that has worked. Even up here, that's worked as well. It's been selling off since 20,000 even. And so do we see more down continuation? Juicy upside. Yeah, looking for a pullback to go long, maybe consolidation, then wait for CPI. We do have CPI in Wednesday. There's always some news event or something happening that we're going to be looking and waiting for. So it's hard for me to say anything. I was going to say, I don't think we're going to see a big sell-off between now and Wednesday, but anything can really happen. This is the support area. You can see on the beginning of August when we did have that big sell-off, we bounced and we rallied, and this became resistance. And when we broke out of that, this was the area where resistance became support, right around here in these 400s. And last night, that became support again. And so we've rallied off of this. And as we start to zoom in, we can see this market structure start to happen, right? Where this was resistance. You could see where this resistance became support here during the New York session. And ever since, it's higher lows. We made a couple higher lows, right? 1, 2, 3, making ever so slightly higher highs. However, this was major support on Friday, and that support has become resistance. So this is a bearish sign, and until we break above this, it's going to be very difficult to get into a long. It's going to be very difficult to make that argument to say that we're reversing trend. We're going to be going and maybe testing up here in these 1900s again. It's hard to say. And yeah, let's take a look. I'm going to look at a 5-minute chart and see if there's anything else. Ooh, you know what? That looks pretty dang good to me. I'm going to go ahead and jump over onto some micros, and I'm liking the long side. This was a decent trade setup. I might be a little bit late to the party. And I'm going to show you, because this is a good point. There were 2 good trade setups today that I ended up taking. So first, during the New York session, we did have this sell-off. I did get caught into a long position here. I took a loss, got caught into a couple long positions on the way down. I was taking a loss. And then finally, I ended up getting into a good long and had a winner. During Power Hour, it was basically identical. Power Hour, we had this huge rally, and then going into Power Hour, we were selling off. We came down. We were right around this 18,600 level. And if you guys were seeing me in the YouTube chat, this was such a beautiful setup. I mean, very rarely do you get a setup this good looking. I've seen a couple of them this past week or two. This is one where you wait all day for a setup like this, and sure enough, this was looking to become a higher low. We consolidated, we failed to break down, and we were making a nice area of resistance, basically around this 610, 620, a nice area of resistance to say, we could get an opportunity to get in long. And sure enough, house account got in long, And my first targets was going to be only here in like the 868, what is it, 650s, 680s level, somewhere around this zone. Definitely I wouldn't be able to hold it for this whole rally. Some of this came after the bell, but yeah, this was a great trade. Just a quick in and out, look to buy down here. And looking at this first resistance, of course, time became an issue near the end. And time is always an issue in Power Hour, where you only have 1 hour to trade and you lose that time. After we closed, we rallied up to new highs, new session highs. And since then, we've been selling off. And so as I was talking, if I was paying, a little bit more close attention, we seen the same setup just right now, where we had this sell-off. We had a sell-off. Look, there's some nice support resistance at the same zone. We consolidated, and now we had a breakout to the long side. And that was it. Dang. Did anybody get into this long? I'm curious. Who got in long here? Yeah, that was a textbook setup for a slow markets, and we are seeing a little bit more volatility. You got in, yeah. Look at you guys. You guys got in. You guys got in late. Good. That's really good. I love seeing that you guys are starting to take some. These are some great. That's a great trade. Sure did 15 lots. Oh, man. Now I feel I'm just not on my game when I'm in the middle of a class. And that is the reason why I do not trade big size as much as I used to when I'm in the middle of class. It's because of this. Because I cannot be watching the markets and then teaching class, because I miss stuff like this where I'm not 100% focused. Yeah, I'm not going to jump in. I mean, I think when I said it, we were just barely at like 60s. We were at when I first seen it, we were at 65, and we keep going. And just talking about this trade, I don't mind talking about it because it looks like a lot of everybody in here caught it. This would be one of my areas to possibly take profit, where if I got in on the breakout, then this would be the first area for take profit, because there was some support resistance here. You could see it happen during the New York session a few times. So this is a very valid area right around 680. And then the next level, of course, is going to be right here at basically 700s even, give or take, right? Because these are zones. And yeah, that is a beautiful trade. This has been happening lately in slow markets, right? Where the market sells off almost 100 points, and then we just rally right back. It's happened twice already that I could remember, where we sold off during slow markets, and then we just recover all of it. And where did we open up? We opened up somewhere up here, right? We opened up. Yeah, we basically closed. I mean, basically right there, like that. That's it. That is where we closed and opened. And so the curious thing is, are we going to see a rally and a retest of that? Because we do have a lot of this. This was a lot of support and resistance that we'll need to get through. This again, obviously, you could see it became a little bit of a hurdle. But then we broke through it. And so the question is this going to become resistance, or are we going to break through that and have these 700s become resistance again? I'm not sure, but now that I'm zoomed in, that trade looks so clean. Like, that is a clean trade. Sell off, consolidate, break out. So if you guys are wondering what a textbook technical trade is, this is it. You're going with the smaller intermediate trend, which was today. The trend is going, consolidating, going to the right. Man, even now that I'm looking at this, could we be making some type of a flagging pattern? That is a possibility that I am watching and seeing in this market. Will this be a flagging pattern to where we're looking to break above or break below? That is a possibility as well. So yeah, the more I look at this, is the more I like that trade, where the way that I would get into it, pretty simple, straightforward, is looking to get in long on the breakout above that consolidation. My stop loss would be on the opposite side. And then I'd be looking for a take profit either at that resistance or maybe somewhere in this resistance. I see myself that I would have taken, if I was in more than one contract, I would have taken one off of it for sure, and then maybe trailed my stop. So great way to start the evening. Looks like a lot of you guys in the chat took this trade. So, man, great. Starting evening, starting off Tuesday in such a positive note. Let me jump back to the NQ, and then we'll switch over to crude oil in just a moment, if I could get it. Okay, crude oil. Crude oil was an interesting one for me today. I kind of got what I was looking for. However, I didn't manage the trade as I should have. And so we know crude oil has been selling off and selling off and selling off, and it's been in a downtrend. Well, today, during fast markets, I got into a long right. I don't know exactly where. I think it was right around, yeah, I think it was at 68. We'll zoom into a 5-minute chart. But I got into a long around 68. It sold off, stopped me out. We started to rally again, so I got back into the long at 68, and I closed it out early. After I closed it out, it continued to rally, and it's looking kind of bullish to me right now on the smaller time frame, where maybe we can see a rally. Maybe we could see $70 a barrel on the short term. I mean, we did come down and test. We tried to break it. We rallied all the way back up. The nice thing that I'm liking is we're kind of holding in this zone, right? You can see this was support. That support became resistance, and we're kind of holding that. And so I would not be surprised if we do break above this and rally and maybe see $70 a barrel. Which $70 a barrel is up here. That would not be surprising at all. And as we zoom into a 5-minute chart, yeah, that is even looking more like a bullish flag pattern. Or, I mean, a flag pattern no matter what, but bullish can be debatable. We are making higher lows and equal highs, and it is coming off of a rally. And I got chopped up on this. This is where I got freaking chopped up. I got in long here, got stopped out, got in long here again, and I ended up getting, like, closing it out, I think here. I don't know. And then we just took off and rallied. But this is looking good for me. Let's see. After I finish looking over Nikkei and the gold, then I'll come back to crude oil, and we'll start talking some slow market strategies here. Let's take a look at NKD. Let's see. Nikkei, Japanese markets. Ooh, this is interesting. Man, Nikkei had a very nice rejection. Right? Where, is this a reverse head and shoulders? Could this be a possible reverse head and shoulders? It looks like we did have that massive sell-off down. That's a 4% sell-off. That is a massive 4.25% sell-off, immediately followed by basically a 4% rally. And so this can definitely be a head and shoulders. Invert it. All right, we're inverting it. Yeah, there you go. Head and shoulders. It's going to be interesting to see. Uh-oh. Shortcut keys. Come on. So I definitely would be okay with looking at some long possibilities here in the Nikkei. We do see this downtrend, and we see that some of this support is holding up right around 36,000 even. A little bit hesitant because this is very strong, very much like you'd be hesitant, buying the NASDAQ. But yeah, that is an interesting pattern. And if we do start to break out, maybe there's some opportunities to get in long on the Nikkei. Let me look and zoom into a 5-minute chart. From there, yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I mean, you could see it's a little bit more clear on the 5-minute chart. We have the shoulder, head, and let's see. maybe there's some room. I mean, there's not too much room. 36,700, that would be the resistance that I'm going to be looking at. And then the next level is going to be right here around these 37,100s. But this is holding. This held so far. So far, so good. It's holding. Anything can happen. If we do break below this, yeah, I definitely could see, if we break below that, then the first stop, 35,800, and then maybe all the way back down and test these lows. But we are continuing to push up here in the Nikkei. Let's zoom in. I could see. Yeah, we're pushing up so far. Does that mean NQ? Is NQ still going up? Kind of. We're hesitating a little bit. And then moving on to gold. And then we'll get to some questions. Yeah, I'm a little bit slow tonight. A little bit slow, guys. You guys could probably tell. Running out of gas. Let's take a look at gold. Last night, was this last night? Let's see. Last night's trade played out pretty well, where if you remember last night we was looking at this saying that if we do break down below, we could come see a test of this. We did. However, we did not break below 25.13, and we ended up finding buyers and rallied. We rallied and pushed right back up into this level, and we might see something similar. If I am going to be looking at patterns, and if we're discussing where would be a good pattern recognition and where can we find an opportunity, I think that could be it. I'm going to be curious to see, right, where we have this rally, and then we kind of had this type of a flagging pattern, if you dare say, and we broke down and sold off. Can we see something similar where we're making kind of a higher high? Do we see a sell-off and maybe a push down to 25.24? I could see that. I wouldn't be surprised if this happens. We are at this level of resistance. There was a lot of support here at the beginning of September. I mean, it is the beginning, earlier this last week. And 25.30s are a really key area. I think this can become resistance. We'll see. Dakota, you need to take some time off. You have made enough money for a year. There's no sleep for the markets. Don't sleep. It doesn't. I seem tired because I made a mistake. Now here, and this is okay. Let's talk about this because it's important. This is really important because trading does not only take into consideration analyzing markets and understanding patterns and just everything that we're teaching. A big majority of trading is health. It's health, it's sleep, it's taking care of yourself, it's taking care of your body. And I made a mistake, and that was taking a nap. I took a nap today, right after power hour. I took a nap, and I didn't set an alarm. And sure enough, I'm feeling a little bit tired. And so part of being a trader and part of understanding yourself and your body and the mental aspect of trading is understanding getting a good rest, having a good sleep schedule, having a good eat, when you're eating. Corey, yeah, it was. I made a mistake, and this mistake was sleep. It was just bad timing on a nap by my part, because when you take a nap and then you just sleep for longer and then you're even more tired after the nap. That's me right now. That's me. I woke up pretty early preparing for you guys know I'm going to be running TopstepTV, and yeah, I'm going to be running TopstepTV Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And in order for me to do so, I'm going to be waking up a little bit early, and I got to train my body to do so. So I'm perfectly fine making a little bit of sacrifices, waking up early. So I woke up early last night or yesterday. I woke up a little bit earlier today. I'll do that again, so that way when it comes to this week, I'm going to feel better. Last thing I want to do is just try and go into a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when I'm running a stream and doing a Topstep takeover on a less than ideal sleep schedule. So it does take me a few days to adjust my sleep schedule, and then I'll feel better. I'm definitely trying to stay away from caffeine. You guys know the Celsius and all the energy drinks. I am really making a good effort on staying away from caffeine. You got it? Yeah. Well, it just depends. Timing is important on when you take your sleep and how long you're taking your naps. Yeah, it's going to be fun. This week's going to be fun. Like I said, no monsters, no energy drinks. Focusing on health. Health is the most important. It's above money. It's above anything for me, is taking care of your health. Because you can have money, and then if you don't have health, what use is money, right? Could you move your NQ stop loss to 670 level now? Okay, so let's get to some of these questions. And then, I think a big part of that is mental health. So the question is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Broccoli is asking me, could you move your stop loss to 18,670? Let's analyze this. So everyone, if I was to get in a long trade here, my entry would be a break. Let's say I even got in at 660. That's my entry. My original stop loss would be below that support. And so to say where would not thinking about targets, right? Because we could choose targets. Targets are a little on the easier side. I like managing risk. So maybe a target up here, maybe a target at this resistance. But the question is, if you're in this, where could we move our stop loss? What's reasonable? And what I like to do is I zoom in, right? Whether it's a 1 minute time frame or a 100 tick time frame or 100 tick chart, then I will decide, okay, where is a reasonable area to move my stop loss? So the first area I'm noticing, to me, it could be fairly obvious. So maybe somewhere below this level, because that is a pivot. That could very well be a pivot. And it also depends on the way that you like to trade, right? Are you going to have an aggressive stop loss? Are you going to have a more loose stop loss where the stop loss down here is still valid? Do you want to leave this trade room to run? And how long are you going to be in this trade? Like, what are your rules? Or are you going to be aggressive where, you're in profit, you got in, and you immediately want to start locking in some of it, and you want to move it really close to this pivot. Maybe you want to move it just to, say, 53, where you say, I don't want to risk the entire move, right? I don't want to risk this entire consolidation. I'm just going to move this for my entry so it looks cleaner. So you got in here, your stop loss is there, then you can, and sometimes I will do this, is move my stop loss not exactly to break even, but just under, because this was resistance, right? And if resistance becomes support, it is valid to say that this resistance can become support. And if this resistance does not become support, I'm okay with my stop loss being just under that level. And then if you want to be really aggressive, then yeah, of course, I would be okay with a stop loss at, what is that, 670, somewhere below there. The only bad thing sometimes on this is emotionally, this can be difficult for a trader. Whereas if we come down and then we say test this and then we just rally up off of that. Or if we come down and it runs some stops and then it rallies. And so if you do have a tight stop loss, you have to be prepared to understand that you're going to get stopped out and have the market continue in your direction sometimes. That is the, what do we want to call it? Maybe the double-edged sword of stop losses is there's no golden rule of saying this is the perfect way to do your stop loss, because sometimes if you have it aggressive, you're going to have your stop loss ran and then the market continue more often than if you have your stop loss down here, right? Or even down here. So that is the double-edged sword of stop losses, is you are locking in profit, you're eliminating risk versus having a loose stop loss and giving the market room to, move and to breathe and to have those higher lows and higher highs. And that is the reality of trading. It happens to me. You guys see it. It happens to the house account. It sucks. And you haven't been trading if it hasn't happened to you. I guarantee it. If you've been trading for a few months, it's ran your stops a few times and then rallied, or it's came within a few points from your take profit and then turn around and hit your stop loss. It's trading, right? Let's take a look at gold. Gold, 8 p.m. We've been kind of moving away from this gold trade. 8 p.m. we do see a spike in volatility in gold, and we haven't been seeing it as much lately. It's not been great. Gold has not moved a lot, but I don't mind watching it while I get to some of these questions. Okay, let's get to some of these. These are some important questions, and I like these questions. Can you tell me about copy trading? So I will never recommend copy trading when it comes to new traders. If you are new to trading, and if you are on your path to your first payout, and if this is your first experience in trading and to become a consistent or a profitable trader, try not to copy trade, because all it's doing is taking what you're doing in one account and duplicating it in multiple accounts. Okay, so if I buy one contract in this account, then the software buys one contract on each of these accounts. So instead of getting in one contract, you're technically getting into 5. I've had my own opinions about copy trading because Topstep went to having 3 to now 5. And I've always been against copy trading. And, I've started to warm up a little bit to it for very limited reasons. You could make a lot of money and you could lose a lot of money, just like if you're trading one account. It's all about risk management. You're just spreading it out. Instead of just doing it all in one account, you're just doing it in a smaller 5 different ways. That's it. You could blow 5 accounts all at once. You could pass 5 accounts all at once. It's a true double-edged sword. There's no real benefit outside of the psychological side. So for me, the reason why I would ever say, copy trading can be a good thing is from the psychological side. Okay, purely emotional, purely psychological. So when I'm trading on one account, I can focus a little bit better on the process. And for example, say I want to get into one contract long, and I'm going to do this. I don't mind doing an example here on a micro in these accounts. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to get into one contract long. So one contract long micro, which is $1 per tick. Okay. And I'm trading this account, and my risk is $1 per tick on one account. I could handle that. But in reality, I'm in 5 contracts. And so instead of $1 per tick, it's $5 per tick. So when I am trading, I don't mind. I could trade small. I don't have to look at the P&L. I'm seeing smaller P&L swings, and it's easier mentally. And so that is the one true benefit I have seen, and that I could truly say on an account that you're copying is the only benefit is the mental side. So I don't suggest copy trading if you're new and if you're on your path to getting your first payout, path to learn how to become consistent, because you need to learn how to do it in one account. Because if you can't do it in one account, then you can't do it in 2 accounts. You can't do it in 3 accounts. And it just does not make sense, right? All you're doing is putting a multiplier on how you're currently trading. And it's a lot harder because then you start thinking about the money side. Like, oh, I just made $100. No, I actually made $500 because it's times 5. And it could be a very slippery slope. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. Let's just see how this one plays out. I like this. I like this long side. Let's see if we can catch a break. You need 20 accounts, so you could just blow all 20 at once. Then when you go to buy new combines, you just you buy 20 a pop. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do I get out of this? I'm just gonna let this stop me out if needed. Crude oil running. Are we seeing a breakout? Are we seeing a breakout in crude oil? Yeah, there's that breakout. We're gonna see 60. Are we gonna see 69 tonight? I think so. Are we gonna see it? Let's watch it. For the sake of all the internet memes, we're gonna watch crude hit 69. selling combine in bulk. Yeah, let's see if we could get 69 here. I don't know. We can't. We're not gonna get it. Prove your strategy and get denied your payout as well. Not sure what you're. Dude, I made a huge error by not using simulator at the start of my trading journey. Oh, me too. And so did MP, and so did a lot of others. There's other people that I do know where they jump in and they feel like they could conquer the market. They know enough to get them into trouble, but not enough to get them out of trouble. And I think that's what the downfall for a lot of traders is you learn. And there's so much positive on the internet saying you can make all this money. You see these people making tons of money. And then you start to learn, and you learn just enough to get you into trouble. And yeah, you end up getting yourself in a bad situation. I've done it. I know so many traders that's done it. One could even make that argument that you aren't really even a true trader until you've done something stupid like that. Let's see, we're not getting that 69. We got to 68.99. 68.99. Okay, you guys are gonna have to let me know if let's see what this trade's. Oh, I'm on micro gold, right? Yeah, let's watch this. Let's watch this one. Let's see if we could get gold to break out. Richard, you are in a trade. Dakota, someone in Discord tried to get me to copy trade. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I explained my own feelings on copy trading and my own opinion. I don't like it. In any other sense, I don't like it. And unless you're struggling with your emotions, you can really do it in just one account. You just have to get used to trading bigger. That's the reality. Instead of getting in, see, look, I'm in one contract, and when I visually see my computer, and we all see this, right? One contract, $3, $1. I'm risking $1, but then in the background, I'm risking 5 times that because it's copied. So mentally is the only the mental side is the only benefit. That's it. That is it. Because if you could do it, you could do the same thing in one account, right? You could just click on 5 instead of 1. You could just get into 5 on one account. But that's harder mentally. That's a lot harder mentally. I added account window at TopstepX. Dakota, I actually call my orders. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Richard. Please check ES. ES is boring. ES is really boring. Look, yeah, see, that stop loss would have been good. This stop loss would have been good at 670 so far. ES is probably doing the same thing, right? Yeah. ES, NASDAQ, they're very, very similar. NASDAQ is a little bit more volatile, especially during slow markets. WizBuddha, the difference is drawdown. No, you can't say the difference is drawdown. It's exactly the same thing. You're just doing it multiple times. Once you get into a live account, you can talk to the Topstep risk management team, and they can set the same exact parameters as if you were doing it in 5 accounts. I literally just did that this year, where, hey, I'm in a live account and I have the equity. I could go ahead and trade 5 times 15 contracts. What's the difference between micros and macros? I don't know what a macro is. I mean, well, I know what a macro is, but I don't think that's used here, what you're referring to. ES is watching a snail during after hours. Yeah. The spelling. Okay, what is your reason for having a copy trade on? My reason for having copy trading 5XFAs is because in an express funded account, you do have limited risk parameters, and I've been testing it out. Obviously, it's been good. It's been a good experience, right? And to all the traders who complain about the blurred account, yeah, if you are consistent and if you know how to make money, then yeah, that is okay. But I could do the same thing in my single live account. The nice thing is Topstep does offer this, and why would I not want to take advantage of this? I'm taking advantage of this, and I'm taking advantage of it in this, and I'm going to be taking advantage of changing my risk parameters in my live account. So if there is, why not? That's it. That's the end of the question, right? Yeah. There's so many. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. I'm not seeing too much happening into these markets anymore. And yeah, Nikkei. Wow, look. Yeah, Nikkei. What did push? We could get in. Your dad's right, Richard. Let's see if I'm pretty tempted to get into a long here on the Nikkei, looking for a break and maybe a break above 36,500. Let me look at this 100 tick chart. Let's see. Yeah, this head and shoulders. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it and see. Because the long is tempting here in the Nikkei. I'm going to watch this, and if I see a setup, I'm going to take it while we get to some more questions. Dakota, is there a market besides NASDAQ to trade after hours that moves for scalpers? Richard Harris, right here, right? Nikkei, someone's talking about gold and crude oil. I mean, we just watched crude oil hit 69. No, we didn't hit for 69. I mean, crude doesn't move that much. And it depends on what your definition of scalping is. Maybe gold. I mean, you see me just, yeah, gold hasn't been too volatile. Slow markets is not really for scalping. I dare to say slow markets is not a good time to scalp. That's why as soon as I have a moment and during the second half of this class, I'm going to be talking more about the slow markets concepts, right? And maybe we just transition to start doing that now. I'm going to continue to watch this in terms of an overnight trade, a slow market trade. And what I am referring by a slow market trade is a trade where I set and let it run overnight. I remember you were doing a week of your entries, exits, what you're looking for overall. Did you edit that down? I have not yet, Ken. Hopefully I could get time to do that soon. Yeah, overnight trades. Overnight trades is the one. Yeah, so let's go through it. I'm going to talk through some overnight trades. because this is slow markets. I call them slow markets trades, overnight trades, whatever. All it is placing a trade and holding it, or even, not even getting triggered into the market. And I think there could be one setting up either on the NASDAQ or the Nikkei. Maybe even, crude oil just broke out. So let's talk about this, okay? So what I'm looking for on not crude oil, the NASDAQ, we either set buy limit orders, or stop orders at good entry points, and we're looking to take advantage of movements overnight. And so whether we're looking for a breakout trade or a reversal trade or some type of trade between now and tomorrow, then there's opportunities to take advantage of it. So for example, if I want to get in long on the NASDAQ and say, if the NASDAQ breaks above 740, then I want to get in long, and I would like to see us, maybe we'll get to, I don't know. This is just an example, okay? Say if we do break through 740, I could see us getting to this resistance, which is 829. And what I would like to do is get into a trade, but wait and only get in when we break out. That'd be using a buy stop. For example, I would just go ahead and enter using a buy stop, get into one contract only if the market breaks out. Now, if the market sells off, of course, it's not going to trigger me in. It's only going to trigger me in when I put that order in and the market touches it. Then there'll be a take profit set here and then a stop loss set at some area that you want. That being said, let's go ahead and put one on. Let's start finding some. We could talk through some. If you guys have any trades that you are seeing, let me know. But let's just scan through these markets. This is what I typically do and I typically look for is I'll be on an hourly chart. I'll look through these markets and see if there is any opportunities. There could have been one here on crude oil. Let's look at gold. Gold was not too bad. Gold shorts. Yeah, I'm actually liking a gold short as well. Might be a little bit too late to the party though. A gold short is not too bad. Looking for a move down to like 22. So yeah, let's go ahead and set this one up. I'm gonna do this on the slow markets combine because we're doing this, and let's talk through a trade. One trade that we can do is getting in short. Let's say we look to get in short gold at here. So we could even do a sell limit and say if gold gets back up into this range, I want to get in short, and then I'll have a stop loss somewhere up here and a take profit down there. We're going to go through this calculation, and then we'll find out what's our risk, what's our profit, and then we'll apply the stop losses as well. Everyone's short up here. Everyone's short. People's been short. I mean, sometimes everyone gets paid, right? Traders do get paid. Ooh, look at this Nikkei. I am going to actually get in a trade, guys. I'm liking this Nikkei long. Yeah. Let's see this. I think I missed my opportunity on getting in on a pullback. We had this rally, and we had this nice pullback down to 330s. Because I'm looking to see if we get a breakout, maybe a test of 36,600. Did I miss this? Maybe tested 36,520 minimum. Am I gonna just watch this trade go without me? I said I was gonna watch it, and I kept switching charts, and I think I missed it. Yeah, this was gonna be that's what I wanted. I wanted this. I wanted this pullback and the consolidation right here. and to get in on the breakout. Dang. Okay. Well, that's probably 2 missed trades tonight. 2 missed trades. Where's the high? The high is 450. That's the high. 450. Dang it. Oh, well. I'm going to watch this. See if something else sets up. Look at short NQ. Okay, we're going to look at a short NQ. As it's going up. Man, it's so hard for me to look at shorts. Let's look at them though. Where would we want a short NQ? Would we looking at a short on a break below this pivot tonight? Or are you looking at a short like maybe a break below here? Because both could be valid, or even something on a more extreme level. If for some reason we break below one of these pivots. To me, this one would be more realistic if we are looking for a short, is a break below 636, and then maybe target one of these, like maybe even target 510. That would be what I would be looking at. I don't like to short using limit orders because NASDAQ can see some very volatile movements during London, and when you're using limit orders, you're getting in as the market's going in the direction that you don't want it to go. You want the market to turn around and pivot, and so very rarely will I use limit orders on the NASDAQ. I like to use stop orders. Stop orders are more realistic, and I like them because you're getting in as the market's going in the direction that you want it to go. Yeah, there goes the Nikkei. See, that's why I don't trade. That's why it's hard to trade. It's hard to trade live on stream. Especially multiple markets. One market, sure, it's fine, but multiple markets when I'm switching back and forth, you can see it's pretty difficult because that was a $500. I think that could have been a $500 trade, and times that by 5, right? That's $2,500. Just not on my game. Let's move on. Let's move on. Spilt milk. Spilt milk. Spilt freaking milk. I don't like the shorts on the NASDAQ, guys. James Hansen, you're long Nikkei. Great. Anyway, let's move it. Let's move on. I'm going to see. Let's see. I don't like shorts on the Nikkei, guys. I don't. I have such a hard time of this to get into a short on the Nikkei here because I don't see a level of support. I mean, this was more of a nice level that we could break down and break below. So this was a good level for a short on the NASDAQ. But I'm just not seeing that here. Invert. I mean, even if we invert this. Okay, yeah, now I see it. Yeah, that looks bullish. It looks like it's going to go up, huh? I see what you're seeing, right? I mean, it just looks pretty simple and obvious. Yeah, I don't like shorts on anything, but here we are. We inverted this chart, and now I can see what you guys are seeing. Let's see this. Well, I mean, it's kind of what we was looking at before. It's still hard, right? That's still pretty hard to even if this was going up and to the right, it's like that's hard to take. Because what I would like to get in, let's just say for the sake of argument, how to invert Alt-I. We invert these charts. So just looking at this from a different perspective, this is still not giving me good points to get in to this market and have it go that way, right? Like I get it, I see it. Maybe there's an argument to get in somewhere in this zone and have like a tight stop loss where you could get in, say, like here, and you have a tight stop loss, but you don't really see that great area of resistance, or inverse, it would be support. And that's this, right? That is this. That there was a nice area of reference. And so if we were here and I seen this and I said, okay, now that is realistic that we could look to get in short or get in to this market as we break through that. And if we inverse this, you can see, right? There's that great area of, a great area for an order to get into a short. And of course we did, it broke down. We had that nice little whipsaw up and then just sold off. That would have been a great trade. And I just don't see that here on the NASDAQ because we don't have multiple areas. We don't have multiple points until you kind of maybe look at this, this triangle pattern, right? Where like, hey, this is a flagging pattern. If we break this flagging pattern, then yeah, there can be that argument to say at the break of the flagging pattern, then we're going to look to see if we can continue down. It's a lot easier to see on a lower time frame. Obviously, there's the lower time frame, and you can see that flagging pattern a lot easier. And so that would be the play. This would be the play where I would look for a short below possibly this pivot that we just made. And if we do break that pivot, then I would look for a continuation to the downside. If you're bullish, then yeah, maybe an argument to be made for a break above this, and then look for, if we break above this, then maybe we look for 840s. Do we see 19,000 again? And on the shorts, yeah, I could definitely see us coming back down to 18,400s. The first level I would like to see would be 500. This first, actually 578, and so there's definitely a reason to short this, and you could definitely get into a short. I could see this. Any recon at psychology for today, Dakota? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Bryce. Crude moving higher. Did we see crude hit 69? Oh yeah, we smashed 69 right there. We broke through it. Okay. Now, that being said, I think that was... No, Ashley. No, don't make me do it. Yeah. Dang it. We have to have joy in missing out. Sometimes it's hard to find joy in missing out on a trade, but it's nice to know that if I would have entered the trade, I would have been right. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So yeah, if we were to inverse this chart, you could see from looking from the short side, I mean, it's pretty clear. It was a clear and obvious breakdown. If it's to the long side, which it is, it's a clear and obvious breakout. That was the trade. That could have been the trade, and we were talking about that earlier. Talking at the beginning of slow markets, right, where this looks like a bullish flagging pattern, looking for a break up, and possibly seeing a run to $70 a barrel, or at least somewhere in this mess of consolidation. Nurse Gringo, trading is so hard. Is it? I think the hardest part about trading is the psychological part. The hardest part about trading is definitely the psychological part. Is there a micro for Nikkei? No, not right now. Not in what we're trading. I wish there was. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon there's a micro for Nikkei, because I would absolutely love a micro for Nikkei. Look, there we go. NQ's selling off. NQ is selling off. Take a look at that candle. Bam, that was... There's a nice... There you go. So, that would be the trade. Maybe if you wanted to get in early, right? This is consolidation and a break back down below consolidation. Stop losses can be above these 690s. And you're basically taking the exact same trade down here, but you're taking it in the opposite direction. Of course, it's easier for me to look at it like this, right? Then that looks pretty good looking. But I like this inverse the chart feature. I'm gonna get used to that. That inverse chart might come in handy. Yeah, that inverse chart. I took NQ3 contracts to get my target in slow markets. Thanks. Nice work. What is the best time of day to trade the Nikkei? I'd like to trade the Nikkei at this time, and then if not, the New York session. The beginning of the New York session is always great. Yeah, Coach Jay, the inverse sounds weird, but it's interesting, right? Because if we take this chart, and I'm really good at buying the market opposed to selling it, and then we inverse it, you can see it's pretty dang clear where this is a lower high or a higher low, right? And to me, yeah, that you could make an argument that looks pretty dang bullish, and we could break out and maybe see these 580s. And it looks different. It feels funny and it feels weird. Maybe I just need to get used to it, because even I struggle with it. Invert the market. It's not ridiculous, JB. How is that ridiculous? It's looking at a different perspective. I know a lot of traders that do a lot more ridiculous things. It's looking at a different perspective. It really is. Topstep X inverting the buy and sell with it. No, I'm not going to trade based off of it. And I'm definitely not going to be buying or selling. It's just an interesting way to look at it. Trading moon cycles. Yeah, there's definitely differences, right? But I think the overall idea of inverting it, right? Let's invert it and look at this, look at that. It's just purely a different perspective, and the way maybe you can argue it is, hey, why would you look at candlesticks? Why would you look at a line chart? Why would you look at these different tick charts? It doesn't really matter. Honestly, it doesn't really matter the way that you're looking at the price action. As if you're able to trade it and be able to trade it consistently, does anything else really matter, to be honest? Heck, they used to just read the tape. And so in no way is any indicator, any drawing on your chart the best or what works. You could trade it based purely off of watching price move, or in any way. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool feature. If the inverse feature helps anybody in here, that would be pretty cool. It definitely, I will even dare say that it's interesting to look at from my perspective. Over the past few days, since we learned about it on Friday with Coach Jay, it just gives a very interesting perspective. You just have to keep them at, like, this is not inverted. You could tell by the price. It maybe opens up more room for error, because I could see somebody inverting it and then forgetting. You got to make sure your candlesticks are the right color. You got to make sure you're not buying and selling and inverting. But yeah, it's definitely a different perspective, and paying attention. And if it helps, right? If somebody's struggling doing something or having a strong bias, I know I could find myself doing that sometimes. But yeah, Larry Yang, I don't know. Fister 5. I don't know if it, and I don't want to test it out, whether the buy, I don't think the buy and the sell buttons get inverted as well. But if you ever wanted to play around, you do have hotkeys, right? And so you could change the hotkeys, buy market, sell market, and do it in a demo account. Don't screw around. Whatever you do it in a demo account when you're playing around with stuff like this. yeah, the invert is neat. It's a feature. Yeah, you could look at it. I could see it being more useful as to like spreads, and for other applications in the markets. Edward Cruz, Fibonacci retracements. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't use Fibonacci retracements very much. I just don't. But they can be useful. I'm sure this is a Fibonacci level. I don't really use Fibonacci retracements, but you could kind of eyeball it, right? If we look at this move, let's look at this move. And without testing it, I could make an assumption this is about 68. That's probably a fib level. What is this? This is probably about, that's probably a fib level. Let's look at this. And you could eyeball this. You could definitely eyeball it. Like there's a fib. I'm guessing that maybe that's a Fibonacci. Yeah, you could probably eyeball it and guess. Let's look. Let's see this. Where is the top? Yeah. See, I mean, there's the 50%. There's the 38. I was a little bit off on that 61, but yeah, I don't use them. I used to, but I've gotten used to just eyeballing and seeing it, and then price action to me tells all. And yeah, that was a good 50% retracement, 61 or 61.8 or whatever, however you have your Fibonacci set up and however you draw them out. But yeah, that could have very well been a good one. That's why I hate shorting the markets, guys. That's why I do not like to short the markets. Yep. Nikkei just, let's go. Nikkei needs to, should have just got in. What did I miss? Anyway, let's move on. Last 20 minutes of the session. Now remember, guys, let's review a couple trader statistics and get to some questions. I'm gonna, ask me anything. Literally, if you want to know something like what's my strategy, we could talk about more of the NASDAQ trade or what we've seen during Power Hour. Over here on the 1 minute chart, this was the Power Hour trade today that we've been talking about in terms of, or what this is what we took right during Power Hour today in the house account was, yeah, it was this trade. It was exactly this trade where we had this huge rally in the morning and we've got this nice pullback, and right during Power Hour, right before Power Hour, this set up for such a beautiful trade. And when we broke out, the house account got in long at 620, and yeah, that was it. That was a beautiful trade in the house account. And not looking at any indicators and looking at this from more of an obvious perspective, just looking to buy a pullback and looking to get in long, and based off of this move that happened previous, you don't really need anything too fancy, right? Maybe there was a fib. I don't know. I don't know what VWAP looked like, but I can imagine it was probably right around VWAP. Dakota, are you more of a swing trader than a scalper? I could do both. I prefer swing trading. I prefer holding trades for longer. To me, the longer I can hold a trade, the better it is for me. What is your strategy? Kerry Reyes, that's a very general question, and essentially it's, I really do like getting in long in the NASDAQ, and you guys could probably see, but it's very basic technical analysis. My strategy is keeping technical analysis as simple as possible. You guys see it here. We had, unfortunately, 2 trades that I missed, and, they would have been really great trades where we get a rally, a pullback, looking for a breakout. And yeah, unfortunately, I've missed some trades, and it's from a very simple and basic technical. Of course, I'm a perma-bull trading cop, but I do take shorts. You guys know I take short trades. Some of my most profitable days have been shorting the market. It's harder for me to short the market than it is to buy it. I'm a lot better at buying dips than finding ways to short. And then when I do shorts, the trade setup needs to be really, really good, or it's just a quick in and out. Can we hold position for days on Topstep combines, XFAs, and lives? So, good question. No, we cannot hold position for days in combines or XFAs. However, when you get funded and make your way to a live account, then you can have a conversation with the risk management team. And I can say with confidence that yes, once you're in a live account and you're a consistent trader, then the risk management team can allow you to hold trade over a majority of days, like overnight, right? MP confirmed that. That was a question. Do I know of any traders here that do that? No. I was considering doing it once, but I have my own personal accounts that I do it as well. So I don't have a need to do that. What time frame is better to look at during slow markets? It's up to you. I like the 1 hour chart. The 1 hour and the 5 minute chart are absolutely my favorite. A lot of my slow market setups during slow markets is on the hourly chart, and I'm looking at basic support and resistance as we go through here, and I think gold was one of them. Like, here's an example, okay? And now with the power of hindsight, take a look at this. There's a lot of resistance here. Resistance became support. There's some resistance, support, and a lot of choppiness there. We came up to this. We started to see maybe a 3-bar reversal and some consolidation, and now we're starting to break down. And this is an hourly chart. And so based on this, that's kind of how I look at the setup. What I'll do is I'll zoom into a 5 minute chart, and then I'll either trade this, or I look for a setup on the smaller time frame to get in the direction of which way the market's going. For this example, it would be to the short side. So even though I'm a permanent bull, I can take a short trade. But yeah, maybe that is a good comment. Or someone says, maybe being a perma bull might be a secret for less confusion. And there is something to that, because the less that you have to keep track of, the less you have to think about, usually more often than not, it is a lot better, because you don't have so many moving parts. You don't have to think about, getting in short, getting in long, doing this, doing that. Maybe there is something to that. I kind to put it down the same path of indicators, right? Where traders have so many indicators on the chart, where you could have, moving averages, you could have this, you could have that. And it almost feels like a jigsaw puzzle or some type of crazy thing to analyze the market, which, I don't have anything against indicators, but I think it's what the house account's going through now. The house account is trying to trade with a group, right? And there's a group of us all having our own opinions, all having our own ways of trading, and then trying to come together and get into a single trade is very difficult. And I think that could be the same for indicators, right? You have a lot of indicators, you have a lot of overanalysis, and then it makes trading very hard, and then you struggle, and then you try and find out what's wrong, and then you are stuck in a cycle of going through these different indicators, finding out these different what works, what doesn't work. Some things work at sometimes, some things don't work, and it's difficult. And for me, I've always lived by keep it super simple. The more simple you can make trading in terms of decision making, the easier it is for you. And I think maybe that's what I found in my own trading is, what if I only look to buy dips, right? Historically, markets go up and to the right. That's proven because we continue to make all-time highs. The United States, just talking about the NASDAQ, the United States and this market has been through multiple world wars. We've went through major national disasters, natural disasters. We went through the bubbles. We went through just about everything, right? Yet we continue to rebound and make higher highs. And for me, it's been easier in my trading career to look for areas to buy rather than areas to sell. Now, it's always the question is like, well, how do you know if you keep buying the dip and the dip keeps on dipping, and understanding like what days are your best, what days are your worst, where's your strengths, where's your weaknesses, what are good setups, what are bad setups, is part of that. And going to my statistics, if we want to talk about like bad weeks, right? Last week was one of the worst weeks in the market for a very long time. And if we analyze these trades, they were all to the long side, right? Long. And every single trade I took last week was to the long side. Like these were all long. And yet we look back at what happened last week. And if you were to tell me that, last week was one of the worst weeks for a few years, and yet I made over $100,000 going long, it's kind of weird. It's interesting to think about it. It's primarily because of, I would credit it to risk management, and I would say risk management is far more important and far more superior than anything else that you could do. It really is. So, yeah, I think that was that a rant? Was that a rant? I feel like that was a rant. Maybe it wasn't a rant, but I just went off topic. What is my go-to risk management? It depends on the situation. I've been showing it. I've been trying to do it. Trail my stop losses, get in, get out. The best loser wins. Being a good loser. I like losing small amounts of money. No, that's not the right way to say that. It's a lot easier to lose really fast than to let a trade just run against you. No, I use static as well, Derpy. I've used both. Man, we should. I need to get some videos made for everybody. I need some videos for all you guys, so we could go through just like over the past few weeks. I've been trading gold at 8 p.m. Central, and so if you're new here, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the YouTube chat if you're new, because I've been placing a gold trade almost every single night at 8 p.m. and I kind of go through a little more in depth of how I manage a trade, like a trailing stop and a stop loss. New here, Julio, welcome. Nice. New here, but not new to Topstep. Welcome. Oh my gosh, there is a lot of new traders. So yeah, I need to get with the team and get some videos. I really need to do that because I think it's going to be beneficial. I've told myself that a few times, but I've been procrastinating because I've been focusing on so many other things. It's been kind of put on the back burner and last not a very big priority because I've had a lot of things coming up, and I'm going to be doing the takeover this week. Wow, that's I'm surprised on how many new traders are here. Pretty impressive. Anyway, yeah, maybe I get some videos for everybody and get that set up. It's going to be hard because it's going to take me a lot of time. Yeah, strategy videos, maybe talking about stop losses, talking about what I've been doing, because traders who've been here for a while, who's seen a lot of my slow markets, know and understand it. But there's a lot of people who don't, and I don't want to continue to repeat the same things over and over again. So we'll see. How many years have I been trading? I've been trading since legally I have to say since I was 18. I did sign on to my mother's account when I turned 16. Yeah, Donald Keys, it was not a lot of time. Maybe I go through it, okay? Instead of taking time and reviewing trader statistics, maybe I continue to talk more. Because I don't know if I'm being repetitive, though. That's the thing. Sometimes I feel like I'm very repetitive because it is the same stuff every single night. And you guys might notice that. It's the same stuff. It's very, very boring. Same things going into the trade, same things going out of the trade. It's very repetitive because that to me is real trading, and that's where I have found my success. Is it's boring, it's consistent, it's the same entries, same exits, same way that managing the stop loss. And to sit here and trade in front of you guys can be very boring as well. And walking through those themes. Everyone who's here, who's seen all my gold trades where we're doing that gold analysis and journaling, I don't know, is there some journals? No, there's no journals on this one. I think the journals are in this one, maybe. Let's go through. Yeah, so, right? So here's an example. Here's a sample. Look above me. When I've been doing this journaling, if you guys are new here, is when I'm getting into the trade, where I put my take profit. I have two different examples of using an aggressive stop loss, using a normal stop loss. And I'm not trading this exactly. I have two hypotheticals, and I've been doing it in gold. And then once I'm done, I take a screenshot and I put it in the journal. And the journal's been very nice, right? Here's the journal. And this is a gold trade, right? Where I get in here, enter in, first take profit, second take profit, moving my stop loss. And doing this, it's kind of like back testing. It's more like forward testing, where you place the trade in a demo account or a combine, and you're able to do hypotheticals. What would happen if I have aggressive stop loss? What would happen if I have a normal stop loss? And that's been really fun. I know traders have liked this. It could be a little bit messy. Sometimes it could be a little more advanced and more in depth, but it's the same thing every single night. And it doesn't matter what market it is, right? You see, when I'm trading the NASDAQ, when I'm trading the Nikkei or gold or crude oil, it's the same thing every single time. Now, the market's different. Don't get me wrong. The market is always different. The market reacts different every single time. The market is new every single week. It might be the NASDAQ. It might be crude oil. It might be gold. But the process is the same. The way that I like to get into the market, the way that I like to get out of the market. It might be a little bit different, as in maybe I scale into this trade. Maybe I scale out of this trade. Maybe I, just get into the full position. Or maybe I just get into a smaller position or a bigger position. So that can change a little bit. But the game's the same, right? Just like football or basketball or soccer, you're going into the sport, the sport you're going to be playing, and it's going to be exactly the same. You have your goal, you know how you're going to be doing it, but how you accomplish that goal might be a little bit different. You're going to be getting a touchdown, throwing a pass, having a run. You're going to be doing these exact same motions, but how you get there might be a little bit different. Maybe I'm getting in 1, 2, or 3 here, and then closing out 2 or 3 there at different levels, or you're just getting in 1 and then closing out 1. And there's so many different ways that we go through this, but it's gonna be fun. Anyway, do I call out trades on slow markets? I wouldn't say calling out trades because this is not a signals, but we do go through, and I do go through almost every slow markets, we talk about trades, any trades that I see going into tonight, into tomorrow. We look at the NASDAQ, we look at crude oil, we look at Nikkei, and then we look at gold. And if there's a trade set up, I talk about it. I look at taking it. Maybe we even set up a trade that can run overnight using a pending order. And yeah, each and every night, it's the same thing. It's fun. It's fun. And then answering questions for you guys. And every once in a while, we'll do some trader statistics. We ran out of time tonight where, if you'd like, you can always go ahead and go into your performance stats, click on share, copy the link, and send it to me in the Topstep Discord in my channel. Anyway, wow, that was good. This was a good night. It was a good night. We didn't really place any trades, but that's okay. We missed out on some trades, which is also okay. And which one's my channel? Andrew, would you be able to post my channel in there for me, please? Or actually, you know what? I have it. I have it. No need. I have that link. Let's go here. Boom. That is my channel inside of the Topsteps Discord. It just says Coach Dakota. I'm not in there as much as I wish I could be, or maybe I should. But if you ask me a question in there, when I do have time, I try and answer them. Usually it's maybe I poke my head in there a few times a day, maybe once a day, just depending on how busy I am. So feel free to ask me any questions in there. Send your statistics, and maybe I'll review them during a slow markets class. Can we just... how did you add price action that you got in and out of the chart? I'm not sure what you mean, Geo. I'm doing that real time on my journaling. And I just go in here. I think that's what you're asking, right? And I just draw a line, and then I just type this, and then I say like entry. And it's real time. Everything I've been doing has been live on the YouTube, and it's all recorded. No, I do not reach out to, no DMs. I will never DM anybody unless they, like, I let them know in advance. I don't DM. I don't accept DMs. Sometimes if you send me a DM, I might look at it, but don't expect me to reply to a DM. Just because if that was the case, you can imagine how many traders I'd be DMing back and forth. It would become a headache to me as well. Yeah, I'm always working behind the scenes. It's fun. I love what I do, and so sometimes it never feels like work. But you can see sometimes I get a little bit tired when I don't manage my sleep schedule the best. That being said, also Winston, maybe sometime maybe this week, the day in the life of what I do behind the scenes might be an interesting thing. Yeah, Richard, more than usual. Yeah. All right. I think I'm just going to end it here. It's a nice slow night. It feels good. Hopefully every night is like this. Not missing out on these trades. Maybe some better setups. We do have CPI on Wednesday. Feel free tomorrow morning. I'm going to be on Fast Markets. Me and my trading buddy Rips, and we're going to be trading it up tomorrow morning during Fast Markets. We'll see if we could get a good house account trade. House account was positive today. It was fun. We had some great trades. I think today, out of every single day that I've traded the house account, today was one of the better days in terms of management, in terms of getting in and getting out of trades. And that could be why it was positive. I loved how they managed the account during Power Hour. It was great. Let's see if we can keep that going tomorrow during Fast Markets. And then I will see you tomorrow night if I do not see you tomorrow morning. Until then, take care, and I will see ya.